It's already been 5 days, and the Cowboys got vanquished again yesterday on Thanksgiving against the Los Angeles Chargers. But we're going to get into it anyway. 37-9, Eagles beat down of the Dallas Cowboys, complete evisceration in the second half, 180 of their 215 rushing yards over the final 30 minutes. Brendan Albert is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. Let's get into it.
Flat-out dominant performance there. I mean, I talked about it with you, Adrian, off show. You know, I always say the way you judge a good team is in the third quarter. You know, first and second quarter, that's based off a whole week of you had game planning for it. Maybe your game plan works in the first and second quarter, then you go into halftime. You have 15 minutes to make adjustments, and that's really where the Eagles came out and whooped ass in the second half. Looked awesome there in the third and fourth quarters for the Birds.
Yep, O-line whooped ass, running backs whooped ass. Carson Wentz didn't have to put the ball up in the air at all. So we're going to get into the first play right here. Corey Clement scoring from 11 yards out on a trap play. And this was something that was well executed all night long with the Birds. The trap play running from a lot of different formations and a lot of different schemes here. Doing it basically on David Irving. David Irving, a really aggressive player for the Cowboys, and he's a guy that has 5 sacks in how many games he's played. I know he missed his first 4 games of the season. So they took advantage of his aggressiveness, slicing into the backfield, and they kept trap blocking him.
Yep, absolutely. Trap calls, as quarterback draws, and then screen plays. Those are the big plays you use to really counteract defensive linemen or linebackers who are really, really aggressive players.
Yeah. So let's get into it pre-snap here. What are you kind of seeing here?
So what we're looking at here is, first off, Carson's going to, try and figure out exactly where he wants his back, but ultimately he's going to be on his right. And what we're going to see here is that Irving, who's going to be the left defensive tackle, he's going to be the guy that the Eagles are going to work against. So the big thing for him, exactly, Adrian, the big thing is he cannot beat the guard across his face. He cannot beat Wiz across his face, because if he does, it's going to make it very, very difficult for Brooks to make that block. Now, that said, what you're also going to look at here, guys, is Big V and Wiz have to get through clean. And what I mean by that is they have to get past the defensive end and the defensive tackle, respectively, clean. They can't get hung up, because those two guys are going to go up and get the linebackers.
Him and then that.
Exactly.
Let's kind of watch this play go. A little slow-mo. Oh, that didn't go slow-mo.
And that's fine. End zone is going to show us a lot of goodness.
Yeah. And you just see the 2 blocks on the second level from Big V. Wiz, absolutely perfect. You see Brooks pulling and getting the trap block.
Yeah, and the big thing that starts all of this is Big V and Wiz are going to take really perfect first steps right on the train tracks, right to the linebackers. And as you'll see here, they both get through clean. You see how Wiz kind of gets that little dip that ensures that he doesn't get hung up, and then Brooks does a nice job coming through, getting the block, which is awesome. And then, Adrian, do me a favor, replay this from the end zone view, because I want to talk about the running path that Corey's going to take here.
Yeah.
When you watch this play, guys, you're going to notice this play is designed to leave the backside defensive end unblocked. So because of that, Clement can't bounce it outside. He has to be vertical. So when you notice, his first steps are going to be straight vertical. That forces these linebackers, too, to not scrape over the top. They have to play it straight downhill, which allows our linemen to get perfect run block angles. So that way it allows Clement to eventually bounce it outside. It's a small thing, but that run allows your linemen to get better blocking angles, and that's why we're playing Fly Eagles Fly in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Yes, they are. And I think this was the play where they opened the safe in the end zone. So Ajayi, he got the codes, he got the money, and then they were making it rain in Dallas.
Absolutely.
What they were doing. All right, next play we're looking at here. J-Trade. Choo. 71 yards on this burst. Now, this is the play where everybody was making fun of Ajayi on the sidelines because he got caught from behind by Byron Jones. But, hey, how could you really hate? Byron Jones set a broad jump record at the scouting combine. I mean, he's a freaking athletic freak.
He's unbelievable. He's a 4.36 40-yard dash guy, okay? So this is not like he's getting caught by a linebacker who's running a 4.8.
Yeah. And I am really struggling to find this play, but here we go.
These are the plays that just, as a defense, they just flat out break your back. I mean, that's all it is. You have them backed up, And what you're going to see here, guys, is first thing, these two safeties take absolute shit angles. Byron Jones here gets way too wide, and then we have the rookie from Louisiana Tech. He's so late to it, then he runs straight vertical. He's completely out of the play. Both these safeties, they just completely blow this play. And like any good running back, Ajayi says, oh, there's open room. I'm going to run here, and I'm going to run very far, and now you have to play catch.
And he did catch him at about the 15-yard line. But the end zone view, we really get to see the great blocking from Big V on this play, Kelsey especially on Anthony Hitchens.
Kelsey gets so much, I think, undeserved hate personally. Kelsey is not going to be a inline center who's just going to win at the point of attack. He's freakishly athletic for his size. Look at his last name. His brother, the tight end, is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Here, watch his angle. He's going to take such a quick first step to get Hitchens. Hitchens is lined up there, and by the time that Kelsey gets and starts drive blocking him, Hitchens is eventually going to essentially move -2 yards, and that's how far Kelsey's able to drive him. Kelsey's the guy who springs this whole play loose. Just fantastic play for him. As we talked about in other shows, Adrian, Kelsey really excels when he's able to go up to the next level because he's very, very athletic.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're not going to show it in this film study, but, we saw it there on that play. Big V did a tremendous job in this game in run blocking, and Doug Peterson showed a little bit more confidence in him. They ran a couple unbalanced sets to the right where they brought Big V over for some tackle power plays, and he was playing really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Big V had a very, very good game.
So next thing we're going to look at here, Derek Barnett, each and every week, betting the edge quicker and quicker. And on this one, we're literally going to get the stopwatches out and see how fast Barnett gets to the quarterback. I'm sure we're both going to be a little off, but we'll see.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. When we look at Barnett's game, he had 22 pass rushes in this game. He had 6 total pressures. He had 3 knockdowns, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. This is the best for any Eagle in the entire game. He played fantastic. Now, if you want to be that guy who says, well, the glass is half empty and say Byron Bell's not very good, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you, but he did what he's supposed to do. If you're a first-round draft pick and you get someone who's a backup, you should beat that ass. And that's exactly what he did. He whipped him all game, and he looked fantastic. Now, as Adrian mentioned here, guys, grab out your phones if you have the opportunity here. Pull up your stopwatch because Adrian's going to play this in full speed, and this is going to be great for us to kind of take a peek, guys, and see what his pressure time is from snap to the time he gets on to Dak.
Bet in the edge like Derek Barnett, baby. All right, that time I got 1.98. Ah, there we go.
Okay. Now,
exactly.
I know that it's supposed to be quick game and stuff like that, but you can't get pressure in under 2 seconds. You just can't do it. It's going to screw everything up here. The end zone view is going to show a great job here of how low Barnett's able to dip. Think about like strike zones in baseball, guys. It's very similar for offensive linemen. There's strike zones for where they're trying to be able to block. Because Barnett's going to dip so low, Bell has no chance to block him here, and that's what allows Barnett to essentially come through clean. And under that 2 seconds, I don't care what quarterback you are, and under 2 seconds, your life's miserable.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go to the end zone view. We want to go slow-mo here so we can kind of show how he can bend it.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, I meant to go – man, didn't go slow.
That's okay.
I hate this thing. That's all right. We could get to the next play. All right. So we saw how quickly he got there. And did you want to get into this anymore?
No, I mean, I think you get that wide 9 and you're able to get home under 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There's not much to say. You're just really freaking good at that point.
Yeah. All right. So next play we're going to look at is a delayed screen blitz. Is it? Mm-hmm. I think. All right. Mm-hmm. Second quarter, 9:13. So this is one of Derek Barnett's sacks, and it's nice to see him finally get the sack numbers because earlier in the season when he was getting the pressures, he wasn't able to get all the way to the quarterback. So he was pressuring, but it wasn't showing in the stat sheet. Well, it's starting to show a little bit more.
Now, Adrian, let's do this. Can you refresh all of our viewers? What's the down and distance on this play?
Let's see. Let's go back.
If I remember correctly, this should be a 3rd and long situation too.
Yeah, I had it written down. I don't anymore. 3rd and 17.
Okay. So down and distance, this simple things tell us, okay, pause it here, Adrian. All right. Eagles are going to essentially rush 3 here, and they're going to allow Barnett to be a back spy. Now, what this means is when we get to these long situations, we have, the 7 defensive backs playing deep. So we're not really that worried that they're all of a sudden going to be able to run a 20-yard route on us because we're playing there. So then what comes to concern us is 2 things now, draw and screen. So Barnett, what he's going to do, and you'll see him stand up towards the same size as the back, and he is going to check with whatever the back does. If the back stays in, Barnett's going to hang out and relax. If the back releases to the flat, Barnett's going to come out in a blitz because he's not worried about a back running a quick out, catching the ball, at the 20-yard line, then running 17 yards. It's just not likely. But what could be a concern is a screenplay. So that's why when we watch this play, guys, you're going to watch Barnett. He's going to kind of wait. He's going to pretty much not move. He's waiting. And as soon as he sees that back start to release out to the flat, he's coming.
I think this one we can kind of play full speed too.
Absolutely. Wait. Okay, you're gone. My turn now.
There it goes. Boom.
The other big thing you'll see in the end zone view here is there's no real stat for this, but Fletcher Cox essentially gets the assist on this sack. I mean, watch the way that he's going to flat out take the guard and the tackle, and by the time that the tackle is able to release, Barnett's already coming. I mean, it's completely a Fletcher Cox sack, if you will, in kind of the stat terms. There's nothing that really quantifies that, but Fletcher Cox deserves more credit than this that he should get.
Yeah, that's not one of those deep penetrations. That's one of those he's just holding up 2 blockers, and that's one of those kind of please you all night type of penetration.
Yep, well said.
There you go. All right, so just one play I just wanted to look at real quick, and we'll just kind of go through it. Now, this is one where Derek Barnett had a sack, the strip sack, where he had the shoulder dip and the bend. But this is a play where actually Dak should have stepped up into the pocket. And, so, all right, 4th quarter, 10:55. We'll just kind of play it real quick. We won't spend too much time on this. But
Adrian, you did a good job explaining that this is in the 4th quarter. So at this point, Cowboys are down. They're down by 20. We know that they're in passing situations, so defensive ends, we're going to widen. We're going to play that wide 9 technique. So as a quarterback, you have to understand that, okay, the external pressure isn't necessarily going to be as close to me. It's going to be wide and be more of a long loop, which means as a quarterback, I have to step up. I have to give my tackles the opportunity to be successful. So if those defensive ends wants to go wide, fine, step up. Now, that said, it's all well and good until you get a 300-pound man who's able to get to you in under 3.5 seconds. That makes your life pretty freaking miserable.
And this was a problem at Mississippi State with Dak Prescott, the pocket presence and movement in the pocket. I mean, look at you can step up here.
Yep.
Not happening.
Nope.
Derek Barnett strip sack.
Yep, exactly. Again, flat out dominant this week.
Yep.
Now we're able to get a defensive touchdown, too, on top of it.
And he's strutting in the end zone, baby. I love it. All right, so the other thing about this game, Dez Bryant essentially shut down, and the Eagles basically dared Dez to beat him. It didn't matter who was on him, whether it was Ronald Darby, Patrick Robinson, Jalen Mills. They weren't following Dez around with Darby. They didn't care who was on.
Dez, honestly, I mean, people want to ding Dak, and understandably so. But the player, if I was ever a Cowboys fan, the player I'd be most concerned about is Dez Bryant. I mean, he just has looked completely lethargic. It does not look like the same person. And after Dez, there's nothing really there on the offense that really scares you. Teams are playing him one-on-one, and they're flat out saying, we dare you to beat us, and he's not able to do it.
All right, so on this play, we see glove technique from Jalen Mills. And let's let you explain that. You're a defensive backs coach. You know all about this.
So the glove technique. Imagine, guys, that we're putting on a glove, Okay, so when you put on a glove, sometimes you need to grab the other hand and then pull and slip the glove in. Okay, well that's the exact same motion we're making when we're trying to break up a play. So what you always want to do is when you're playing defensive back, you want to have your upfield, or in this case, the hand closest to the end zone that we're defending, behind the player. So at worst case scenario, we're able to at least grab him and make the tackle. And then the hand that's going to be closest to the ball, shoot right into where their hands of the receiver are going to be. When we say this is the safest way to break up a pass, but still be able to make the tackle. Call it the glove technique. And this is just played absolutely perfect. So Adrian, if it's possible, when the ball is nearing Dez, can you pause it? Because I think that'll really help our viewers see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think we see is it a slant or a deep slant play?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want me to pause it? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Once the ball gets a little bit closer.
Closer, okay.
Break it up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but
kind of hard to see it here. End zone view, you probably can get a little better, but you can still see here that his left hand is coming straight through the hands of where Dez Bryant is. Now, normally, Dez Bryant in the past has been that physical receiver who's been able to box out corners and be able to use his body and catch this. If Dez can't do this, Dez has never been the guy like an Ajayi Green or Julio Jones who can flat out run by people every single play. So if Dez can't do this anymore, this is a massive concern for Cowboys fans.
Let's see if we can kind of get it on the end zone view here. Get that technique. So again, all night, third down, they're going to Dez, and Eagles corners were shutting him down.
Yeah. Which is a pretty refreshing statement to make compared to last season.
Yeah, for real. All right, I think this is going to show it. Oh, this is going to show it. There it is.
Okay. No kidding, guys. Like, when you try to teach youth football, this is the kind of clip you show. The right hand behind to be able to secure the tackle if we need to. Left hand coming straight through where the hands. Now, the only way this is called pass interference is if with that right hand, we pull the receiver and we turn him. That's what the referee is going to see. So the referee would either see the receiver, obviously his shoulders turn quickly because he's getting pulled, or they would see the numbers on his jersey stretch. And if the numbers on the jerseys are stretching, that means we're getting held.
There it is. Perfectly said. And wow, what a difference between last year and this year. Leotis McKelvin, Nolan Carroll just not able to get the job done. And now all of a sudden you put in Ronald Darby now while he's coming back. Jalen Mills, tremendous second year, taking a big leap. Rasul Douglas has played well as a rookie. Patrick Robinson has been outstanding. So, man, because last year you knew it was coming. You knew the quick three-step passing game was coming. It was predictable. But Carroll and McKelvin still couldn't stop it. It was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. All right, so next play, Ronald Darby. This is blanket coverage on Dez Bryant on a fade route, back left corner of the end zone.
So when we talk about the fade route, guys, the fade route, there's a spot. So if you've ever seen that drill where the quarterbacks are throwing the ball into the garbage can, into the end zone, they're really throwing the fade route. Fade route's supposed to be 7 yards deep, 3 yards from the end zone, about 5 to 6 feet high. That's the perfect spot for the receiver to get to. Now, I talked about it earlier. Guys like Dez Bryant, guys like Alshon Jeffrey, these are those big red zone threats. Brandon Marshall, those are the guys who can go up and get it. And what we're going to see here from Darby is as soon as we see that Dez starts to make the outside break, Darby's going to sprint and get right to the hip of Dez Bryant, get shoulder to shoulder with him, and slowly wall him outside. Think about kind of like rebounding in basketball. He's slowly going to use his leverage and his body weight to force Dez out of bounds. So in turn, when Dak throws this ball, because when we go the fade route, it's complete trust. Quarterback's just taking it and throwing it and saying, go make me the play. And when he throws this ball, he's trusting Dez to be there. Well, it doesn't happen. Darby forces him out, and that's what allows Darby to essentially be the receiver on this play.
And no pass interference on this play as well. I mean, you'll see that Darby and Dez, they kind of get into a hand-fighting battle, and Darby does get his hands on him. But that's one of those plays, I mean, that you just kind of let it go as a ref. This kind of shit happens all the time.
Especially in the red zone. You know, you have less field, so you're going to see more hand fighting from both people. As long as the hand fighting doesn't push one player to the ground, and most importantly for the defensive back, as long as his eyes are still on the quarterback, it's fine.
Yep. All right, so let's play this.
And you'll see it, guys. As soon as Dez makes his outside release here, Darby gets right to the hip, and then he starts to wall him outside. I mean, that's just perfect textbook play.
Yep. All right, I don't think this angle might show it as well. I wanted to go slow-mo, and my slow-mo button's been not working recently.
In this play, guys, you're at least going to be able to see that, look, I mean, there's nowhere, because Darby got right to his hips so quick and started to wall him outside right away, there's no throwing window there. Now, like I said, this is not an incompletion on Dak. This is an incompletion on Dez.
Yes. All right. We won't play that slow-mo. It's okay. Second quarter, 105. So this is a play where Jim Schwartz brings the blitz. Patrick Robinson on an island on Dez from the slot. And again, Dez, nowhere to go here because he gets blanketed.
You know, I think the pretty cool thing is here, and this should be like a big smile moment for all Eagles fans, we just highlighted Jalen Mills on Dez. We highlighted Ronald Darby on Dez. Now we're highlighting Patrick Robinson on Dez. The three top corners for the Eagles all did fantastic against Dez Bryant, the best receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. That's awesome. So what we're going to see here, guys, pre-snap, is this is another 3rd and long play, if I remember correctly, Adrian. And when we see this play, okay, if we look at it pre-snap, we see cover 1. Cover 1 meaning we have one deep safety, about the 17-yard line exactly. So Dak's saying, okay, I know I don't have anything in the middle of the field. I can't throw it to the middle of the field because the safety's there, so I have to throw the outside seam routes. So Dez now is going to be the first read because essentially he's going to be running a vertical route but outside, releasing away from the safety so that the safety cannot get over the top. That's what Dak's going to see pre-snap. Now, Coach Schwartz here does a fantastic job of playing the gambles. He says, you can't block us. I'm going to send the house at you. I know you have to throw the ball deep. I'm not going to give you enough time to allow you to throw the ball deep. I'm going to make you throw off the back foot because I'm going to send the house. But what makes this play, guys, is the timing of the safety. Adrian, when we play this, we're going to see, guys, this safety, he's going to, at the snap, he's going to sprint over the top, take the tight end, which is going to allow our strong safety spun down to come on the blitz.
Let's go a little faster here. And there you go.
Perfectly timed. So now this is a cover 0. We're coming with 7. And now Dak has to throw off his back foot, and it's the same thing we talked about in the last play of Ronald Darby. Patrick Robinson gets right to the hip of Dez, starts to wall him outside, and shrink down the window for the ball to be thrown. Again, this is a perfect job here by the Eagles' defensive backs, timing it up perfectly, and that's what causes Dak not to be able to check into something different.
No fly zone.
0. Love it.
See if we can see the safety come.
Yep.
Rodney McLeod there up top. Look at that. Oh, that's so beautiful.
The timing is just perfect. I mean, it's completely perfect because Dak's already changed the protection up front. If Dak would have known, hey, this safety's coming, I'm going to check and keep the tight end in. But he didn't have that timing because the defensive backs timed it up perfectly.
Now, just one more play before we depart, and I just wanted to go through this real quickly. So, Cole Beasley got held to 7 yards on 2 receptions, and he's a guy that's always given the Eagles fits in years past. He always gets matched up against Malcolm Jenkins. That's at least what they used to do when they matched him up in the slot, and he would always just torch him. He was too quick and shifty for him. But in this game, Patrick Robinson did a whale of a job, and this play right here just kind of illustrates it. So there's not much to discuss here, but I did want to show you guys this. All right, so if I can play this, and I want to see if I can pause this at the right time. So you can see Cole Beasley has that separation, right? A lot of separation there. And for Patrick Robinson to close, that late close there, using his long arms to knock this pass away, I thought was absolutely tremendous.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, this is the biggest difference in the 2017 Eagles and the 2016 Eagles. The depth at defensive backs, not making guys like Malcolm Jenkins have to play as much coverage because you have 3 good corners. That's huge.
Yeah.
What we're going to see here, guys, on this angle, this is another really routine thing. It's a great thing to do in youth football, middle school football, high school football. Don't chase a donut with your head in the air. So what I mean by that, guys, is what you'll see a lot of times at the youth level, high school level, sometimes even the college and some bad pros, when the ball's in the air, the defensive back, he'll start looking for and chasing it. He's never going to make this play. When you're out of position, you need to sprint until you get to the hip of the receiver and then find the ball. And that's exactly what Patrick Robinson does. He realizes, shoot, I'm not going to be able to get there. Cole Beasley made a nice out-breaking route. So he sprints right to the hip of the receiver and then finds the ball and then just lays out. And if you notice it, where he's aiming his left hand, he's not aiming for the ball. He's really not. That ball's moving so quick, it's hard to see it. What's easier to see is the receiver's hands. Yeah. So that left hand is going to aim right for the middle of those 2 receivers' hands, and that's why this play is broken up.
Boom. So there you go. Patrick Robinson, A+ in this game. Completely shadowing Cole Beasley, and then that one play on Dez Bryant. So we just went through a film study, and no Carson Wentz. What's wrong with us?
You know what? This is a good thing for us to do. When we're not talking about Carson, it means he's doing everything we had wanted and more. There's nothing to talk about. He's just saying, hey, you're so darn good, we don't need to evaluate you. Everyone's able to see how well you're playing right now.
There it is. And in this game, secondary played really well. Barnett played really well. And then obviously the offensive line just completely overwhelmed the Cowboys.
Absolutely. All three of those areas were huge factors. No doubt anymore. Eagles have a much better offensive line, even with Tyron Smith. The Eagles have a much better offensive line playing right now than Dallas. That was a huge, huge factor. Defensive backs looks fantastic. And Barnett did what a first round's supposed to do, dominate a backup.
Boom. There it is. Any final thoughts before we depart?
Eagles are in a great position now. It all comes down to them and the Vikings potentially, who's going to get that 1 seed.
Yeah. Vikings gets real tough the next 2 weeks at Atlanta, at Carolina. So we'll see if they can kind of get through that stretch because it does get a little easier after that for them. So 9-1 Eagles, now 9-2 Minnesota Vikings after their win last night, yesterday afternoon, I should say, right during our Thanksgiving dinner. So there you go. That's it. That's it for this one. We're done.
Love it. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, that's Brendan. I'm Adrian. We're out. Take care.